Hello, welcome to this video tutorial. This is showing you how to structure your answers in order to maximise your marks. I'm going to use a student's answer as an example, and this video tutorial is about a 20-mark childhood off paper 2. As always, I always show you the mark scheme just so you can see exactly what the examiner is actually looking for. So I have mocked up a little bit of a mark scheme. Pretty easy to do because they do follow the same structure, so you can see exactly what you are looking for. So top band, you are looking for really good knowledge, conceptually detailed. It's not all about the names, just rather the viewpoints, the explanations and sociological words as much as possible. Your AO2, which is this bit, just make sure that it's applied accurately, applied to the question, so every paragraph states why is it relevant to the question that's being asked, and then lastly the evaluation and analysis. That should be explicit and relevant. That just means when it is applied, it's not just bolted on. And it also uses the word debate, addressing that throughout, and appropriate conclusion will be drawn to get the top band. So the best way to talk about an exam question and structure is to give a bit of a working example. So we're looking at a 20 mark from paper 2, so you can just see a real life example about how it works. So we're looking for a good introduction, good main paragraph. Just to keep this tutorial short, I'm just going to look at one paragraph and a conclusion. So the first stage in writing a better essay is in the planning. So as always, I recommend that you spend at least 5 minutes of that valuable exam time just reading through the question, reading through the item, read through it at least more than once. The second time, start to underline, highlight keywords for both the item and the question, and then also spend a little bit of time annotating. By all means, write a little bit of a mini plan on your answer booklet. The examiner, if it's not crossed out, should be looking at that as well if you do run out of time. So it is a valuable piece of the essay writing procedure. So the power of a good introduction. So a good introduction is really important, and a lot of students do struggle with writing an introduction, mainly because they don't really know what they should be putting into it, and because they also miss out the first phase, which is what I've just talked about, planning the answer, getting your ideas down in your spider diagram onto question paper before trying to answer it. So they don't really understand what exactly what it's there for. Some teachers also suggest to students not to write an intro, but to be honest, if you want to be successful at academic writing, an introduction is a must, and you will be expected to know how to do it if you are thinking about going to university in the long run. So if you've already read, reread, highlighted and annotated to get some ideas to paper, you should have a fair idea about what the question is getting at. So when you're writing your introduction, you should be able to show the examiner firstly what the question is getting at, and a brief structure or outline or map of what the reader or the examiner is going to follow. So here's an introduction in action. So the student answer that was written on a recent assessment. This student follows the recommended 4 or 5 sentences and has included the 3 component parts: the context, content and debate. So just to break it down, I'm following the hectic teacher just so you know, because she recommends this structure as well. But the clear context was the wider knowledge of child-centeredness, and the student applies an early definition and gets that out of the way. The content part, the student has talked about the march of progress, so good early identification of theory and some sociologists who would agree with the question. And then lastly, we've got the debate. This is the signal to the examiner that the student is aware of the AO3 marks, and this student uses the words from the question to show it's applied and relevant. So the main body of your answer, again drawing from the hectic teacher, should aim for 3 to 4 main points, addressing different elements of the question. Some points may be drawn from the item, others from your knowledge, and this will give you a good breadth of knowledge of the topic, but also give you the opportunity to explain fully, showing analysis and evaluation and the application to the question. Now remember, you've only got 30 minutes to answer this question and 10 minutes has probably passed already. So paragraph structure. Here I'm drawing on a multitude of sources that I've acquired. Different teachers apply different structures. Some do the PEC, some do PECWA, some do pay. And again, the Hectic Teacher does it well. It's probably the closest to one that I would use, and I call it the piece paragraph. So just to break it down, P is the point that agrees with the question, the E is the explain, and both of these are giving you your AO1 marks. Then you're getting the AO2 because you're applying it to the question. You might apply the item as well at this point. Then you've got the comment, is it a solid explanation? If you looked at it from a different angle, you're starting to show a little bit of analysis, and then you've got your evaluation at the end for your AO3. So let's explore this student paragraph to show it in action. The student starts off with a point that agrees with the question, e.g. the first few that argues that the modern family is child-centred. Nice early usage of the wording of the question, and they link Urey's historical view, showing some explanation as well. This student also applies knowledge from the item and a clear application to the question, and a nice sentence that says this has led families investing in children and protecting childhood, suggesting a rise in child-centred families. This student then adds an analytical comment. Looking at it from the class angle, working class children have not experienced some of the positive changes to childhood than better off children will have. And lastly, evaluation. And this evaluation is applied specific to Urey's piece of research, as this is questioning his findings. The student uses words from the question a few times just to show those skills of application. So nice easy paragraph that you could follow. Now there is actually quite a lot that you could write about for this essay, so here is some ideas both for and against, and I've tried to put them in line so you could start to piece them together a little bit so they become some sort of paragraph, like so. And I just want you to be aware that there are also some really nice overlaps with other topics as well. For example, the rise in symmetrical families that you would have seen in topic 1 with the division of labour, and the rise of symmetrical families and dual learner families. Likewise, there's also been a change in birth rate and infant mortality rate, which is from demography, and also the increase in divorce. So don't be scared of making links, especially if they logically fit. So analysis, what about analysis? Is there any analysis that you could include? So with analysis, a useful tip to help you analyse is to use cages, and this stands for class, age, gender, ethnicity and sexuality, and this will encourage you to dig a little bit deeper into the topic or debate, and there's quite a few examples to get you started, and I want you to just really incorporate these into your answer to help you show some analysis. Lastly, you should be finishing with a conclusion. It is essential for that top band, and again I draw upon the Hectic Teacher. 4 or 5 sentences max. Under no circumstances add any new information. Here is an example. So start by identifying the main points. So for example, families are smaller, more is being spent on children, including leisure time, children are better educated and protected, so we've got that clear march of progress view, linking it to the child-centred aspect, and then you have got the AO3. This is not the case in all children. There's no universal childhood. You're highlighting the fact that you wrote about your cages, and you have mentioned maybe we should ask children themselves if families are child-centred or not. Just hear it from their viewpoint. So just to summarise, make sure you've got an introduction, main and conclusion. Your structure is consistent to ensure that your skills are equally balanced throughout. Your Hectic Teacher for her valuable resources. Massive thank you. Please check out her website, and I have used quite a few times How to Write Better Essays by Brian Greetham. So thank you for watching. If you found it useful, please click a massive like, please subscribe as well. You know, I am a teacher and I have an ego, and you know, don't be afraid to, you know, make me happy. If you've got any comments, please pop them below. Check out some of the other videos: how to avoid juxtaposition, how to use the item, how to analyse in family topics, how to make cross-topic links, and also if you want any personalised support or online tuition, please email. I'll see if I can support you in any way. My email is below. But as always, massive thank you for watching, and I shall see you again soon.